Hey, what's happening, everybody? Welcome back. Thanks for joining me. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share because it helps you stay informed with upcoming episodes. And I like doing this, and hopefully you like watching or listening to it. Today, I'm happy to be joined by the man his mom calls Motor. It's my firstborn son, Cody Petrick. Thanks for coming on, Cody. Welcome to the Matrix. Did you take the red pill or the blue pill to get here?
I might have actually taken the black pill, but
What's
we'll
that?
say
I haven't heard about that one.
I don't know. Honestly, I've just heard it before, so I just took a wild guess.
Well, this is a red pill area. You don't take the blue pill to get here. It's the red pill to get here. So
The only thing I associate with blue is my favorite color, and that's about it.
okay. So that means you want to take the blue pill?
No. Just my favorite color. I'll red pill all day.
Why is blue your favorite color?
I don't really know. Because my brain just decided it was my favorite color. I honestly had like 17 different favorite colors in my entire lifetime. But
So you just change them whenever, willy nilly? It's like, yeah, I just want a new color now.
no, for the last, well, as my mind changes, I get different perspectives, and now I have my favorite color of blue.
Okay. So you know what my favorite color is?
Blue.
Is that you're just copying me?
Yeah, no.
Are you sure about that?
I'm positive.
Look, you're not the first guy to copy me, so if that's the case, you can just admit it. It's nothing to be ashamed of. A lot of people copy me.
I'm not copying you.
I think the whole world's been copying me for a long time. Some of them not so good at it, but that's fine. There's only one arrogant Andy.
What am I? Because I get called arrogant all the time.
Cocky
too.
Cody.
That's
Just
a good
made
one.
that up. Bam, right there. See, this is what we do.
I'd say
We improvise.
confident Cody, but hey, that's fine.
Well, okay. You say it, potato, whatever. Do you regret being a jerk when you were a teenager and in high school?
Nope. Not a bit.
Not one bit.
Not a bit.
Why? Why do you think it's acceptable to be a jerk?
I would say that it's actually probably more acceptable to be a jerk, or not. Actually, I take that back. It's not acceptable to be a jerk, but I think it's important to be a jerk or to be stern and almost mean. I think it's good to be a mean person because if nobody in the world was mean, everybody would be a bunch of pansies.
Okay. That's interesting. So by being mean, you're just trying to counteract the people that are not mean? That's what your line of thinking is there, or
No, if I try to put it in perspective, I'd say if everybody's trying to be nice to not hurt your feelings, well, sometimes you need to hurt somebody's feelings because the truth hurts, right?
mm-hmm.
But this just sounds so stupid. The truth will set you free, right? It sounds dumb, but it's so true and corny, whatever. But if you tell the truth and you're stern and you're immediate and you're blunt about it, well, it's going to hurt your feelings, but you're either going to grow or you're going to be as worthless as you normally are because you're a wuss.
Mm-hmm. Being a jerk to your parents was
That's a different story.
That's what I'm talking about.
I take that back.
So
No.
here, let me start over. I'm going to ask the question again, and then I'll answer it for you since you got it completely wrong. Do you regret being a jerk when you were a kid, Cody? Yeah, Dad, I'm really sorry for being a jerk all the time. I apologize for that. Oh, by the way, everybody, yes, we are drinking 2 drinks at the same time. That's what we do in Wisconsin. we drink Bloody Marys and beer, and we also talk like this, like everybody thinks we're talking like this all the time, or whatever kind of accent. I just made that accent up. It's not a whatever people think we talk like. We're kind of half normal, right?
I think we're probably the most normal, actually, to be quite honest.
Maybe.
I think so, and it's probably because we drink 2 beers at the same time.
2 drinks at the same time. Yeah. Some people like 2 chicks at the same time. We like 2 drinks at the same time. Cheers to Sunday Bloodies. There's that.
Cheers to that. Zingy.
Have you finally figured out that I know everything?
I think you probably know more than I would like to admit. But I can actually admit it now that you do know a lot of things. I do think you're a crazy person sometimes, but that's okay because I think I'm a crazy person sometimes too.
Oh yeah, the whole world sees that one. All right, well, thanks for the half-ass compliment. Appreciate that.
No problem.
I do know some stuff, not everything. I'm working on it though. I know how to do this now. Maybe not good, but I'm getting better at it.
Slowly but surely, right?
You were in the Army a while back for a few years out in Fort Carson near Colorado Springs, right?
In Colorado Springs. Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Well, I wasn't sure if it was in or near. I mean, I know it's like right outside the city. I'm not, technicalities, but anyways,
Mhm.
tell me a little bit about that experience.
In a whole,
Sure, whatever.
excuse me. In a whole, I would say I personally had a poor experience in the Army. But I think that had to do with a lot of life events and whatnot. But I was there for 2.5 years at on Fort Carson in Colorado. The unit that I was in was kind of known to pretty much everybody on base that it was a kind of a crummy unit. They didn't really care about their soldiers, the officers, and whatnot. They just kind of willy nilly did whatever they wanted, and I'll say I was part of 3rd Brigade, and that's as far as I'll go with.
Do you think that happens a lot though? Like, cause like in everyday life, you always, people, when they get together in groups, they're always complaining about how the people in charge are basically like, oppressing them. Like it's everything, even at your job, things like that. There's always, so like in your unit, everybody complains, it's well known that we always get treated the worst here. I mean, you see that every day, but I don't know. It's just something that's a perspective that I've learned to get a good grip on the older I've lived. Like, it seems like everywhere you go, everybody's like, oh, this is the worst thing ever. And
Sure.
is it? So go to the other one and then you'll be doing the same thing, right?
Yeah,
So not to take away from, like, maybe you might be right. I'm just throwing it out there. You hear that kind of stuff a lot.
I'll agree with that, actually. I mean, especially because I was a lot younger when I was in the Army. I was 19 when I joined. I turned 20 during basic training. Actually, it might have been during my AIT that I turned 20. But then I was only in for 3 years until I got medically discharged.
Mm-hmm.
But it, I guess, like I said, my mind changed over time. Everybody hates their boss, and at the same time, they're full of crap. They actually like their boss. They don't mind them half the time. It's hit or miss all over the place.
What happens when you are the boss?
Who cares? You do whatever you want.
Well, you have to not care because everybody hates you.
Yeah, okay, that's true. That's why I act like the boss all the time. No wonder everybody hates
so
me.
you think just acting like the boss does it? All right, that's cool. That's understandable. What did you what was your job, or what do they call it? There's probably there's probably an acronym for it in the Army because everything's acronyms.
Yeah, puke. I used to hate that everything was an acronym. But so I was my MOS, I believe
your acronym.
No, my military occupational something. It's
That's
not something.
What an acronym is.
No. But they call. I'd say your MOS. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
okay.
my MOS was I was a 94 Foxtrot or a 94 F for people that don't know the what is that phonetic alphabet. The 94 Foxtrot is a computer detections systems repairer. The easiest way to explain that to somebody that was in the military, I was the nods guy, right? The nods guy or whatever, the guy that works on the night vision goggles and stuff.
Okay.
Ooh. Everybody hated me, but then they loved me because they always wanted their stuff to work.
Why? Because everybody wanted to be able to see in the dark.
Yes, because if you can't do that, well, that's in the military. The vast majority of our operations are at night. That's if you can mask yourself under night, that's the best. That's why actually one of the most concerning things like with, I guess, for instance, the whole Afghanistan withdrawal or whatever, the biggest problem or one of the biggest problems wasn't just the guns and the helicopters and I don't know if there was any tanks or anything, but some of that stuff was actually we left thousands of night vision goggles.
You left them where?
During the pullout from Afghanistan,
yeah.
There was tons of night vision goggles.
We left all kinds of stuff there.
Right, but that's what I'm saying is a huge concern that people don't necessarily think is a big deal. The night vision goggles is, well, if you can mask yourself in the dark and you can see in the dark, well, again, we're running around in the dark. We're trying to conduct our operations. If you can see me, well, that's bad.
Yeah.
That's the whole point,
So
right?
you want to be invisible.
Yes. Invisible cloak.
Why didn't they just give everybody like invisible superpowers when they join the Army? Because they jab you with all kinds of shit, don't they?
Yeah, they do actually. And oh, Jesus, yeah.
You think they gotta have invisible powers by now, right?
Well, I never got any. I always thought I had them, but I never got
Yeah.
any of those superpowers.
Maybe we should call Bob Lazar, the guy that claims to work in Area 51 that knows all this alien technology. Maybe he knows if they have superpowers there.
Bob Lazar. I never
Oh
heard
yeah,
of that
man,
guy.
he's got a crazy story. Someday when you got time, Joe Rogan had him on, and that's where I first learned of him. His story is it's crazy. It's the things that he knows like in detail. It would be so hard for you to fabricate something like that. I mean, and his story has never changed. Every time he's gotten interviewed, I mean, he says the same thing. He's not. It really comes across like this dude. He either has a brain that can convince him to tell this story exactly the same way and like is convinced himself that what he's saying is real, or he was really part of something that happened. Just he's got a very interesting story. It's worth checking out sometime. They've done a documentary on him stuff, but anyways,
Bob Lazar.
Bob Lazar.
I'll have to look him up.
Yeah, super. He's a super smart guy before he got recruited by the government.
The Germans. No.
No, not the German. No, it's not that long ago. I think this was back in like the 90s or maybe the 80s when he was working there. Do you ever get to play with any cool weapons?
It's top secret. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, if it is,
no,
that's cool.
no. I didn't have a good enough security clearance, and my security clearance is now invalid, so it doesn't matter.
Well, what did you get to use?
I have fired an M4. I have fired a 302 and a 320.
M4 is a rifle, isn't it?
M4 is a rifle.
What's a 302?
A 302 is an attachment to that M4, or at least it was an attachment to my M4. It went underneath. It was a grenade launcher.
Okay.
So I had that attachment, or I'd fired that one.
Did you have to get enough coins, like, in order to get those upgrades? Did you have to get like a secret package or something?
No secret coin, no upgrades or anything like that.
Okay.
Actually, what I needed to do that was, unfortunately, I didn't get a choice. It was, you get to shoot this. You shoot it, now that's your weapon.
Okay.
So
the 302, so we got the M4, the 302.
The 320, which the 320 is also a grenade launcher, but it had a buttstock on it and a pistol grip.
Okay.
So basically
Sweet.
it was a pistol grenade launcher, and
It's
that
like
also attached to the
literal hand cannon.
Yes. And that thing was pretty cool, honestly. The only thing I hated about it is that it was my my issued weapon, if we were to deploy or when I go on trainings and whatnot, was an M4 with the 320 attached, with a actually, I don't even remember if I had a scope on it or not. There's no I don't think I did. But either way, it was super annoying because it was super heavy. It was just a pain in the butt. And then you had your full kit. So you got your front plate, back plate, side plates, and then your camelback, any other gear that you had or whatever.
Yeah.
And all that stuff, it just weighed you down. And when you're done field exercises at the very least, which is unimportant to a point with me, is you're just walking around and your back hurts. It's just so much crap.
Yeah. You would think that you would kind of get acclimated, the more you wore that stuff, the more you'd get used to carrying that kind of weight. It's kind of like, I'll use an analogy, like what I do for a living. I do construction for basically. And when you do that kind of stuff, when you first start doing it, you're going to be sore, especially like things like winding springs. That's something that your people aren't used to doing. So you don't use your shoulder muscles that way or anything like that. So people are definitely not used to that. Yeah. But as you do it more, you just get acclimated to doing it. Your body builds up a resistance like it does. And then you don't get sore doing it anymore. No, it's just like normal. So it's the same thing. Like you would think that wearing all that gear after a while, you just kind of just get used to it.
Well, you know what? I'll say yes, you're actually right, but only in the sense of like if you're deployed, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're deployed or you're overseas or whatever, you're wearing that stuff all the time. So it's just throw it on, you run around. It probably doesn't feel like anything. I was never deployed, so I don't know. But when we do like field exercises, you got to remember most of the time that when I was in the Army, I was sitting in an office fixing parts. I wasn't running around with a gun, shooting targets and stuff all the time. Like people may think like crazy. So I didn't wear all that stuff. I wore my ACUs and that was it.
Yeah, I got you.
Another acronym
sense
for you.
Yeah, well, I'm telling you, that's the Army, man. Everything's acronyms.
It's because we're all dumb. We don't really know how to say full words.
I mean, yeah, I understand why they do it. You know, you want to make things as simple as possible because you're trying to train a group of people to just follow orders and, you know, be killers or do whatever they're supposed to be doing in the Army, whatever their job is. Like, you don't want everybody running around thinking for themselves because that doesn't work well. You want people to think more like, you know, for the group when it comes to the Army.
If you do your job, everything will play out okay. Everybody does their job. We all get to the same common goal. You're good to go.
I'm sorry, I got to fix my phone here because these dickheads that are watching the Badger game seem to think that I give a flying fuck about what's going on, and I'm trying to turn this buzzing off. So I'm just gonna do this, you know, while everybody's watching me, and you know, maybe I'll call out all these guys, you know, Brian, Dan, Jody, Joe, you know, Kubiak, maybe who else is on here. So let me just let me unnotify these guys because they're pissing me off.
I don't know why anybody actually even watches college sports. Honestly, it's so boring to me.
You know, I don't either. I don't either. It's whatever. I mean, to each their own, right?
Yep. Sure. Yep.
Your Uncle Marty loves that crap, man. He's like a huge Marquette fan. I'm just like, you know, if I'm going to watch sports, I'm going to watch the pros because it's just better. It's just a better product. I mean, you take the best of the best from college and then they go to the pros. And I know a lot of the guys I hang out with, they think that the kids that are in college care more, and they might, but I'll be honest, professional athletes, they care more about what they do than people probably give them credit for. There's so very few people that are that good at playing whatever sport it is. You have to like dedicate every bit of your life to it in order to be that good. You can't just be like, you know, just kind of half-assing everything, because then you're just going to be kind of half-ass good at everything. You have to like, boom, like, if, you know, I want to be a professional baseball player. Like, you are living that life.
Yeah, there's nothing else. Sure.
And there are other things involved. I mean, you got to be talented. You got to be, you got to have the athleticism to be able to do that kind of stuff. You just can't be a fatso and think that you're just going to be good at a sport. It doesn't work that way. But
there was a guy named Babe Ruth, but hey.
Well, it's true. All right. I take it all back. Let's start over. You ever ride in a tank?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How was that?
Sucks.
Why?
It's so compact. Like, oh, it's this big thing. Like, no, man. You're crawling around. You're hunched over, and it's just terrible.
Yeah.
It's like the most uncomfortable thing in the world. Most of the time you're like crawling around on like your knees, it feels like. And then just think of it this way. If I were to crawl around on the floor here, it wouldn't be so bad because there's carpet.
I would think that'd be weird if you were doing that, by the way.
Okay, I won't disagree with that. But at the very least, if I were to kneel down for whatever reason.
Kneel before Zod?
Before Zod, yes. Only before Zod.
You gonna eat that microphone? You don't have to have it like right there. Yeah, there you go.
No, I don't know.
Go there, Slick.
Hey, Slick, Jesus. Well, I watch a lot of podcasts, and these guys all the time, they're like,
no, it's because they're moving. Yeah, because they're trying to keep the microphone the right distance. Yeah, okay, I got you. So do what you got to do.
But hey, no, nonetheless,
first timer.
There's the Wisconsinite. Oh yeah. Oh. So it's carpet in here. It's not that bad. If you're crawling around in a tank, it's a big giant piece of steel. You know, so it's not comfy. It's not cool. Nobody wants to do that.
Did you just ride in it, or they let you push any buttons or do anything?
Nobody gives me that access to.
Did you say, "Hey, can I drive? Scoot over, man. Let me drive for a while."
I don't want to drive that big piece of crap.
No. What if you're? But driving around and like start blowing things up?
That's not how that works.
Did they fire the tank when you were in it?
No,
they didn't.
Thank God. No, I have a good story for you though.
Okay,
but hold on.
That's why we're doing this.
I did. So I did ride in one. The driver doesn't fire. There's two separate. So there's a driver, then there's your, I don't know what it's called, the guy that shoots the turret. Great.
Yeah, gotcha.
But anyways, a good story for you is I was out on a I don't know what the right word is for it. It's like a mission or whatever, for like a training mission, more or less. And I was out in the field with an NCO, non-commissioned officer, and we were pulling like ammo guard, right? So we were guarding missiles, more or less, or rounds. We were guarding rounds.
Okay.
And the reason we were guarding was because obviously you need to guard the rounds no matter where you are, even if it's on base. And there was a tank unit that was actually, they were doing their qualification for whether you can actually fire the tank or not.
Okay.
And, well, what I didn't know is that at 3 a.m, they did this tank qualification. So they were firing these rounds, and I'm in my LMTV, we're just sleeping, whatever. Well, they were firing pretty much at us.
Oh, nice.
Literally, we were on top of a hill, and then the cliff came down. They were firing at the cliff.
Oh boy.
So I remember being with the NCO I was with, and we both woke up like, "What the fuck?" Because it was just like, just like, "Oh, that's weird." Who called it in? Like something happened.
Hey, why are you guys shooting at us?
They just called it in. They were like, "Oh yeah, they're firing to the northeast or whatever." And we're like, "Oh, okay, that's where we are. Great."
Yeah.
Thanks.
Whoa, where's the communication there? Like, shouldn't you be like, hey, we're sleeping on the hill. Try not to fucking shoot us.
It's probably more like more training. We
More
want you to get shot at.
Just block it.
Not Neo. I know you said Matrix in the first place. No, we're not Neo, man.
So when you were out in I was going to say California,
Oh,
in
hell
Colorado, there was a rumor going around. I don't know if you heard this or not, but there was a rumor that just like Uncle Rico, you could throw a baseball over the mountains. Is that true?
No, that's not true. I could throw a baseball around the world.
Around the world?
Around the world.
Have you ever met Uncle Rico?
No, only
No.
Uncle Marty.
Does Uncle Marty know that you can throw a baseball around the world?
I don't know. I'll have to ask him.
That's pretty far throw.
Not if it's flat. The earth might be flat. You never know.
That's another podcast. I'm gonna have to find somebody that's crazy enough that believes that shit to come out here and talk to me about that. I would find that very interesting.
Yeah, it'd be good. Like, oh, you can talk the whole time.
If you run really fast on flat Earth and get to the edge, do you just like fly off and then, or do you just like flip to the other
that's
side?
the one. I think it's just.
No, hey, I'm on the other side now.
I'm upside down.
Not that I can run really fast or anything, but I'd be curious. It'd be a good experiment to try. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you could throw a baseball pretty damn hard. I remember when you were a little kid. I don't know. There was just like at one point, maybe when you were like 12 or something, all of a sudden I'm playing catch with him. I'm like, oh, this ain't fucking gonna happen anymore. I ain't playing catch with this kid because you just was zinging it in there. And I'm like, whoa, that's a little bit different. Like that's starting to hurt. And
you need to learn how to catch a ball, but hey.
Well, still, I mean, I guess maybe I just wasn't ready for it.
Yeah.
Like this dude just whipping it in there. And I remember playing softball when you played with us after you, when you were like, I don't know, it was probably after the
19.
Army.
19. No, it was
before
right
the Army?
before.
Before?
Right before.
Yeah. And the guys were like, oh, Scott Kavosk was like, man, your kid throws pretty hard. I'm like, yeah, you ain't kidding, man. I've been there.
I remember Scott used to dodge him. He was playing first base and I was playing shortstop and throw the ball and he'd go like,
He was probably just stumbling. You know, that's Scott.
No, that's Ed. Ed with the no knees.
Yeah, Ed. Yeah, but you're pretty good at baseball. I'd ask you if you ever regretted like not doing that, but we all know the answer to that because I think we all regret that stuff.
Yep.
But you know what? Here's the thing. Don't regret it.
And I was going to just say the same thing.
Totally not worth regretting it because you know what? I mean, you got to look at life. You look at life like every day. Look at where you are and looking back is like, man, what the hell? You can't change it. So why even worry about it, right? You are where you are. I could say, yeah, I regretted a million things, but nah, I guess at the end of the day, I don't regret anything because I'm here now and I'm just going to make the best of what I got to work with. That's period.
Yeah, I actually feel exactly the same way. Surprise, surprise. But
yeah, I am surprised. How'd that happen? You're not really my kid, just so you know. That's why I had you on this podcast. I wanted to drop that on you. It's like, hey, you're not my son.
Yeah, we don't look exactly the same.
Just because you shave your head doesn't mean we're the same.
We have like the same beard. We're both fat. I mean, come on.
Yeah, again, you're copying me. Again, always copying your dad.
Oh, wait a minute. I thought you weren't my dad.
I don't know. Maybe.
Okay. Yeah, mailman.
Okay, fine. I'm your dad. I'll take credit for it. Only the good things, though. I always blamed all the bad stuff on your mom.
I do that to my wife.
Yeah,
too.
it's normal. I think that I don't even think that's taught. I think that's just inbred into everybody. That's in your DNA to naturally blame everybody else for everything wrong and take all the credit for everything good.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
CJ will run around and do something awesome. Like, that's my kid. And then he'll like whack his head to the wall because he's dumb.
Yep,
And
that's
like,
your kid.
That's your kid.
Yeah, that's exactly how that goes. Yeah, I know exactly how that goes. Something some people might not know that when you were a kid and you learned how to ride a bike, I don't know if you remember this or not, but when you learn how to ride a bike, you could only ride in a circle.
I heard this story,
Yeah, you
actually. I
just,
don't
like,
remember, but
when you first learned, it was just like you just like I don't know, you just were always leaning one way, so you just like went in a circle. I took you to softball practice, and I
was
think
this
it was
the time that I got stung by a bee?
no, I don't believe that was the same time. No, you were riding your bike because you had literally it was like that day. I think you had learned, so I brought you with. I'm like, hey, because we went to Schulte School and there's all this room. I'm like, you can ride your bike, and you're out on the field riding your bike in the circle, like if somebody was running the bases. Because again, you could only ride the bike in a circle. And I remember Ed Jakes going, doot, 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 doot. Yeah, we all had a good time at your expense. It was funny.
Yeah, that's the way it goes, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's always at your kid's expense to a point.
at
and then
somebody's
it's just-
expense.
It's just funny.
Yeah, you know, that's especially guys. Guys love to have a good time at somebody else's expense.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you hang out with some of the same guys I do. You know how that goes.
Yeah.
You want to go to Born of Osiris and Attila with me?
When?
May 24th.
Where?
It's at the rave.
Was that the rave?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go.
Okay.
Born of Osiris.
I'll have to get
Born
some-
of Osiris. Whoa.
They got a new song out, man. It's a jam.
Isn't it? I haven't heard any of their new songs lately.
Yeah, I think they're getting ready to put a new album out. I just heard the new song, and like some of their stuff, like when they had like the album, The Discovery. I think that was like their second, maybe third album. Man, that's one of my favorite albums still, and I really like that one. But then I started to like a little bit less of them. They just kind of changed their style a little bit, and it really wasn't jiving with me a bit.
Mhm.
But now their last album, I listened to it and I'm like, yeah, this is pretty good. I like that one. And then their new song is really good. I know that's the bad thing about drinking when you're doing a podcast. You're
Gotta
burping in the
burp
microphone all
and
the time.
turn
I don't know,
around like,
just maybe we should just let it fly and
Next time,
fuck being professional.
tell
We
you
just
what.
got to drink all the time and we don't give a
the
shit.
next time, I'm going to take a big slam of this beer, this good old Busch Light.
Yeah, Busch Latte.
And just burp right into the microphone.
That's fine.
I feel bad for the next person to be on your podcast, though.
Well, I disinfect them because I know that people like you probably have horrible breath with your bacteria all over it. Actually, I don't do anything with them, but these little windscreens are cheap. I could always change them out. They make a big difference too.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, they help. Like they kind of knock down a lot of the what they call them plosives. I've learned that's like when you say P's and S's. Sometimes when you do that, if you're like pa pa pa, it'll really kind of pop into the microphone.
Sure.
These help with that, and then you can get there's pop filters you can put in front of them. I can use my technology to get rid of a lot of that stuff, but
Yeah.
it's better if I don't have to. If I can just like record and not have to like try to edit every damn thing I'm doing, because I want to sit in here for 4 hours editing, audio and video. I'd rather just like put it out. Like, here you go,
$10.
done. Yep, I'm
Little
done.
thing.
What's your favorite? Well, this is probably a tough question. And you don't have to nail it down to one, but what would you say is your favoriteest food of all time?
My favoriteest food.
Yep.
I can tell you what. I can nail it down to 2 main types of dishes. Like I like Mexican and Italian food.
Okay.
Those are pretty much like my 2 favorites.
Your genres of food?
My genres of food. Yeah. You take my genre, man.
Mexican and Italian?
Yeah.
I bet you like
It's like a Mexican Italian. No.
Yeah. It's a Cheech and Chong
I
bit.
know. It's not even that way, but
That's like most of America. Like, I like Mexican and Italian.
ain't that the truth?
That's good food.
Yeah, I've started to kind of. I have a hard time eating Italian food though, with all my acid reflux. It sucks.
Yeah.
It hurts.
Got to take stuff for it.
Yeah, I just bought a pill container yesterday.
Was it one of those like you got all the days of the week?
Yes.
You are old. I don't even have one of those because I refuse. I had one for a while. I'm like, I don't need that. So I
I
just
did the
try to
same
remember
thing.
to take the right stuff every day.
And fail probably.
Well, maybe. I can tell when I don't take my omeprazole, when I forget to take that for sure, because I only take that like every other day. That's perfect for me. It works.
Okay.
But if I forget, if I miss a day, like the next day, I'll start getting acid reflux. And I'm like, whoa. And so I'm glad that I take that stuff because that has made a huge difference in my life. I used to
Yeah.
take Tums all the time. Even back when I was in high school, I always had acid reflux.
Really?
Oh, yeah. So that's now I never get it. And like I said, unless I forget to take the shit. So, so Mexican. So that's like, do you have a favorite Mexican food? Like if you had to try to nail down like what Mexican dish or item do you like the most?
Chile rellenos.
You like- yeah?
Rellenos,
Rellenos, yeah. You like
Yeah.
those, huh?
Mm-hmm.
That's a poblano pepper stuffed with cheese.
And then you just slap it in a corn
Yeah.
tortilla.
You put it in a corn tortilla?
Mhm.
Like you put the whole pepper in there, or do you cut it up into
chop
chunks?
it up into little pieces, and then
Like LL Cool J said, to cut them up in chunks.
yeah, yeah, just chop it up and then just kind of mix it up, throw it in that's like actually, no, I take it back. I think my favorite thing to eat would probably be hash.
Like
corned beef hash.
You ever had Newski's corned beef hash?
Mm-mm.
I'm gonna tell you what. I'm just gonna look into the camera and say this right now. I keep dropping names of good shit. You people, if you see this, you better start throwing sponsorship money this way, because I ain't got no problem giving you some free advertising here because your shit's good. But Newski's hash, I got some. Maybe I'll have to give you some. It's hard to give it away because it's like gold, man. Like,
Yeah.
But I like to make that stuff for breakfast.
Really?
So you take the corned beef hash, you put it in the pan. I always put a
Over
little bit of
easy
butter.
Right on
Dude, it's
top.
exactly what you
Yep.
do. So you get that hash, you get it nice and crispy on one side, and then you get it all flipped over and you start to brown it. And then you take and crack a couple of eggs right on top of that, and take and put a lid on there and kind of poach those eggs,
Sure.
just so that they're like, done, so that the whites aren't liquidy, because that's disgusting.
Gross. Yeah.
Right, exactly. I'm like, I draw the line on
Yep.
the liquidy whites, man. I can't be doing that.
I'll eat raw yolk, but that's about it.
Yeah. Right, that's where I draw the line. Yeah, raw yellow, fine. Raw white, no good.
Sometimes.
Whatever. Okay, different topic. Yeah, so
Family-friendly show.
that's some good. No, it's not.
Okay.
Actually, I have to mark it explicit when I load it up to Spotify. I was gonna say Spodcast.
Oh, you put it on Spotify?
It's on Spotify.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's where I host it. I put it on Spotify, and then I got to load it to YouTube as well. Spotify, you can do the video and the audio. You can on there.
Really? I've never been able to see the video on Spotify.
It's a little weird. I never really use Spotify, but you can, like, if you open the page right, you can find and click and watch the video on there.
Okay.
But also the nice thing about Spotify, see, another sponsorship.
I had a burp into the microphone.
The other nice thing is, like, it generated an RSS feed, so now I can link it to like Apple Music and Prime and all those other things, so I can upload the audio will automatically go out to all the audio feeds that are available, having it on there. And then like I said, I just I load it up to YouTube manually. What a process, man. This has been learning how to just upload the stuff, man. I spent almost a whole day one day just trying to get my damn bit rate small enough that I could upload it to these platforms, because it was just like, I had no idea even what bit rate was. I'm like, well, I know now. It's been a fun process anyways. I enjoy it. Like, the part of it I like the most is like just having people over and just shooting the shit.
Yeah.
Talking about stuff.
I was actually really excited to do this. I mean, it's like,
You look excited. Did you pee your pants?
shit my pants.
Oh boy.
I need my Depends.
Yeah.
Thank you, Joe Biden.
Liquor or beer?
My wife will punch me in the head. Liquor.
What kind of liquor?
Whiskey.
What kind of whiskey?
Good whiskey. Would you like me to break it down even further?
No, good whiskey. So I mean, like, you
Like
could
bourbon.
Yeah, bourbon.
Bourbon's good.
Or any good, like a JMO. Is that considered good?
I wouldn't say JMO's really like a.
Or
like
what
a
if I
good
said just
whiskey.
good Irish whiskey?
Well, see, and that's the other one. I only know two decent Irish whiskeys at least, and that's your Jameson and your Tullamore.
Yeah.
I like Tullamore more.
You ever heard of Bushmills?
Mm-mm.
My buddy Jeff Floyd. You know Jeff Floyd.
Yeah.
He'll yell at you if you want to drink JMO. You want to drink Bushmills, you loser?
Why?
I don't know. Ask him.
Whatever, Floyd.
Yeah, Bushmills is good though. I've had it. Yeah, I like good whiskey. I like both. So again, you answered wrong. You should have said all of the above.
No, because
I know there's no wrong answer.
Well, all of the above for whiskey for the most part, but at the same time, I hate Scotch.
Oh,
and
Scotch
that's
is
technically
horrible.
whiskey, and that's nasty.
I have a hard time with that myself. I don't
like drinking ashtrays.
Just so you know, Scotch people, yeah, you don't need to sponsor me. I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yuck.
I don't, yeah, that's one, like, and some people do. Brian Vance likes it, and he tricked me last time I was over at his house.
He likes everything, though.
He's like, here,
Come
maybe you'll
on.
like this Scotch. And he poured me some. I'm like, oh, dude. And then I just tasted like I ate a fire for the rest of the night. I'm like, oh my God, it's so bad.
Yeah,
Like,
no thanks. I'll pass.
Yeah.
I'll pass. Give me
I'm good.
water. It's fine.
I like good tequila.
See, I don't.
I've been getting into like the good tequila lately, especially like, hey, George Clooney, want to be friends? I like
you
your
can
tequila.
you can hang out with John Johnson. He's a tequila guy.
He's also like, kind of, even though we're both conservative, he's kind of my enemy now.
What?
Because, he's kind of on the Trump thing, and I'm not quite so much on the Trump thing,
Well, I'm not your enemy, and I'm on the Trump thing.
Yeah,
I'm just
I
not.
know.
I'm not that
I
far.
know. So I was just making a joke about that. I know he likes shitty tequila though. He likes
Jose
Cuervo.
Gold.
Want to hear a good story about him?
Sure.
Actually, I got two. Want to hear two good stories about
Let's
him?
hear it.
I should save him when I have him on the podcast, but I can't. Maybe I'll just rehash things. Other people do it, so why can't I do it? He, when I was shortly after your mother and I were married, you were probably really young. I think it was either a wedding or a funeral that we had to go to up in the UP, and that was when John and Joanne were still married,
Mhm.
and we had a hotel. I think we weren't in the same room, I don't think, but Jenny and or your mom and Joanne were gone doing whatever family things they were doing because they got a lot of family up there.
Mhm.
So me and John were sitting back in the hotel room, and he was drinking shots of beer. It was the funniest thing.
What?
All night long. Like I'm just drinking beer, like regularly, drinking beer out of a bottle. And he's just like all night, he's just pouring shots of beer, drinking them out of a shot glass.
Gotta like tone himself down or something.
That's just like how he is, He's just goofy. He's goofy that way on purpose, I think, sometimes. I don't know, for whatever reason, but I remember I was
like
laughing.
that dude. He's awesome.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he totally is. Yeah, it was that was a funny story. And then there's another one when I played softball with him.
Uncle Salami.
Yep. We played for JQs, and we were at the bar after the game, and I can't remember who said it was a good idea, but they were making him shots because he didn't drink a lot, but when he did, he wound it up pretty good. But he just didn't drink much. It was just very, very occasionally. So he was drinking Cuervo, and somebody had the bright idea to put Tabasco in there. And so he had one. He's like, "Oh, these are really good." And there's probably a name for the shot, but I don't know. And he had a bunch of them. And I remember
like
seeing
hangover medicine.
I don't know, but it was like, it didn't sound like a good idea to me. Like Tabasco in a shot of tequila. I'm like, that sounds like a disaster in the making. Well, it was, because the next week when I saw him, he's like, "That's the worst thing I ever did, man. My asshole was burning so bad the next day from all the Tabasco and the tequila." So
You'd rather just drink Tabasco with a shot of tequila in that.
yeah, some of that stuff, like, you remember Haduru?
Yeah.
Your mom's cousin that lived with us for a while.
Mhm.
He went hunting with us one year when we went up by John's place. And he called it a hot green toad.
Oh, that's
it was a shot.
One.
Oh, man. I think it had like ginger brandy in it, and it had something else in there. And we're all having a good time. It was the night before the opener, right? Because, that's what everybody does. They get all fucked up before the opener. And, get up at 3:00 in the morning after you went to bed at 2, drinking a million beers. And then you just go and pass out in the woods, and I didn't see anything today. I wonder why.
You were sleeping.
Exactly. But he like ruined the entire night. It was me, Ed, Jim Guerin was there, and John and Mike was there. And he's like, "Here, have one of these shots." And he got us all a shot. And it was the most disgusting piece of shit I ever drank. And we were all like, our moods just went like, ugh. And we went home. We were like, "Oh, that's it. We're done. Tap out. That was terrible." Yeah, it was awful. What a terrible idea. So if you're watching this, Haduru, thanks a lot, you jerk. Don't ever do that to anybody again. It was mean.
Your dog's running in his sleep.
It's my pony. He likes to run. All right. So here's a question for you. This one might be tough for you. What is the air velocity of an unladen swallow?
Well, I don't know that.
What do you mean? African or European?
Yeah, right.
I don't know that.
That's one of the greatest movies ever. I swear I'm gonna. You know what? I need to show my kids. They'll probably hate it.
They might like it. They might. Everybody's different. I'm glad that you kids like it. I know your mom doesn't really care for that kind of stuff.
Kind of like my wife though too. She doesn't care for it.
Noelle likes it.
She's crazy.
Yeah. Does that mean I'm crazy?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to argue at all. Why?
What is your favorite color?
Yeah. Red. No, green.
Red.
What is your quest? To find the Holy Grail. Yeah. I fought in your general direction.
We got one of those.
Yeah, what a great movie. None shall pass.
It's
Step
just a bunny.
aside. Yeah.
It's just a simple rabbit. She
It's got
turned
these
me
big
into a
teeth.
newt.
Yeah.
That's my favorite line. That she
I
turned
got
me into a
better.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love the scene of like, bring out your dead. I'm not quite dead yet.
You'll be dead soon.
You'll be dead soon. When are you coming back? Tuesday. Is there anything you can do? Maybe. Whack. I'm feeling better.
The
Oh,
lady,
shut up. You'll be dead soon.
the lady with the cat.
Yeah, right. Just in the background, whacking that cat on the pole or whatever. Yeah. Yeah, it's a great movie. That's a good one.
That's men's humor, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're such simple people that we get humor out of the dumbest things. Just the dumbest stuff. I mean, I'll admit it. It's a stupid thing. It's a stupid movie, but it's so funny
Oh,
because
yeah.
it's so dumb.
It is like movies like Airplane or The Naked Gun.
I
Any
haven't
of
seen
that.
either of those. Wait, The Naked Gun. Never mind. I saw that.
Yeah, with
That was
Leslie
Air-
Nielsen.
Yep.
You know, the funny thing about Leslie Nielsen and do you know Lloyd Bridges? They were both in that movie. Lloyd Bridges was like the admiral in the Hot Shots movies, if you ever seen any of those.
Is that the black dude?
No, he's a white guy. Lloyd Bridges, like Jeff Bridges, do you know who that is?
If I saw
He was
it, I
in
might,
Tron
I'm not sure.
Legacy. He was, he's Flynn.
If I saw him, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he was the dude, man. The Big Lebowski.
Oh,
That's
okay.
Jeff Bridges. So his
yeah,
dad,
yeah.
Lloyd.
Okay.
So Lloyd Bridges and Leslie Nielsen both, before they started doing that slapstick comedy, they were both, they were like serious actors. And then when they got into, you like that coaster? You're going to take it home with you?
I might. It's so funny.
When they got into the slapstick, it's like they were just so good at it because they could, like, especially Leslie Nielsen, he could just deadpan that stuff. The dumbest shit that he would say and do, and he would just be like totally serious doing it now. They were really good at that, both of them.
Yeah.
Why are you ruining your mom's life by moving away?
I'm actually it's probably good for her.
Oh, yeah?
No, I don't know. I honestly have no idea. Don't say that to me. That's bullcrap. Because you know what? I knew you really wouldn't care, but I know that.
What, are you trying to say I'm insensitive or something?
Yes.
Hmm.
That's okay though. I
That's
am
mean.
too. You're a secret sensitive, Sally.
Yeah, well, if you say so.
Yeah, no, and Mom is an extra sensitive lady.
Yeah.
She, when I called her and asked her, or not asked her, I told her, she kind of was just like, I'm really sad, but you're gonna do what you got to do for your family,
Mm-hmm.
and and I think you'd probably agree with this, is that what I've come to realize is when you become an adult and you move out and you finally grow up, even though it took me like 25 years to actually become an adult.
You think you're there?
Finally.
Hmm.
Finally. Well, I think so. I'd like to
I'll
think
put a
so.
survey out after this show.
You should do that. Is Cody an adult?
No, I think you're there.
I'd probably end up with like a no for like everybody.
I would
But
agree.
either way.
You've grown up. Yep. You're a man. I'm proud of you.
Yes. Thank you. Appreciate that.
You're
It actually
welcome.
means a lot to me.
I don't throw them out there all the
I
time
will
because
say
I
this.
don't want you to get used to it.
Yeah, that's actually probably good.
I'm just kidding.
One of the biggest things I've always wanted was actually your approval most of the time. And it's
Yeah.
probably because you don't throw out approval all the time.
That's because you guys all suck.
Whatever.
I'm just kidding. I'm not kidding. Everybody sucks.
What is going on? Back to I think when you become an adult, a lot of people don't realize that you move out, you start your own family,
Mhm.
right? Not to say that like you and Mom and Jordan and Kyle are not my family anymore, but there's a reason why you're no longer my immediate family.
Right.
I've started my new family, and I'm going to take my family, and I'm going to do what I think is best for us.
Right. That should be your priority.
Absolutely, it is. And it took me a while to kind of figure that out because, like, when I've always wanted to move away and do my own thing, but I always thought to myself, like, well, I don't want to move away from my family. Well, that's bullshit.
Yeah. I
Because-
felt like that myself a lot of my life too. So continue.
Well, I was just going to say, like, it's bullshit. I can take my new family that I have, and I'm going to do what I want and because I think that, or at least what my wife and I think is best for our family, right? Because it's a partnership. It's whatever you want to call it. So that's it.
That's what you should do. Yeah. You got to do what you think is best. And the way I look at it, I guess if me and your mom did our jobs right, then we probably gave you a good set of rules and values and gave you some knowledge that hopefully helped you make or helps you make the right decisions for your family. You know, me and your mom, one thing we definitely agree on, that when you have kids, we both think that you basically are living your life for your children at that point. They are the number one most important thing, and they should be. And if somebody wants to argue with me about that, bring it on, because you're going to lose one way or the other, because I'm either going to beat the shit out of you when you think you won. No, but I mean, I would argue with anybody about that, because if you're going to take the responsibility of bringing a child into this world, then you better damn well take the responsibility of doing the right thing for that child, which means you need to teach them everything that you can. Good things. Don't teach them bad. Don't teach them how to rob banks, obviously, right?
Teach them moral things. I think that's the most important, right?
Yeah.
Because everybody has their own right and wrong, which is total B shit.
Whatever, is that new word?
It is now.
Word of the day, B shit.
I don't know where I was going with that. Either way.
You got that for me too. I like to ramble on and not. What was I talking about?
Well, you got nice notes and everything of what we should talk about, and then we go.
I still have a hard time because
go into 40 different things.
Was I going to ask him this question? I don't remember.
Let's go with this one. Shit, I can't read my own writing.
Yeah. Well, see, I learned take notes, you dumbass. Well, we both wish you luck, and I got to tell you, we were talking about this. We may change. We're probably going to change our plans because you are moving away. So thanks a lot. Funny story about that, because we were talking about it, and I'm not moving to Alabama, like I said. I'm not, because I'm just not interested. Alabama's not a state that really, I've been there enough, and I'm like, it's not for me. But we have talked about it because we're like, well, if you guys are moving away, Kyle and Noel talk all the time, like they probably want to move away at some point too. Mm-hmm. And your sister, she's going to be in, 4 years of medical school and maybe another 2 years of school somewhere else. Who knows? And who knows where she's going to be, where she goes to medical school, and who knows where she's going to want to live when she's done. So it could very well be the case that all you kids are living all over the country anyways. And then, my mom moved and my brother moved. Mm-hmm. So literally, my family's not here. Your mom's got a little bit of family here, but most of my family is gone. So then I think, well, what's holding me here? Mm-hmm. I do like Wisconsin, and we had a plan to move, kind of be up north maybe, or be somewhere not in the Racine area, but move somewhere when we retire. But then we want to snowbird down in Florida, which we're still going to do. Mm-hmm. But we may move to Tennessee or a state like that, move somewhere down south that would put us a little bit closer to you guys. And also has something different to offer than here. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's some advantages. I mean, it's a big country, man. There's a lot of places people can move and live. So we thought about, well, now the sky's the limit. We can do whatever we want now. Mm. There's places we won't live. We're not going to live on either coast just because that's not for us. We're Midwesterners, and you stay in the center of the country, you're going to get similar people to what you're used to, and not deal with the crazies, because there's no fucking way I'd ever live in California. And I'm not trying to throw everybody in California under the bus here, because you're not all crazy, but California's messed up, and I'm not interested. They can have that all to themselves. I'm good.
They made their own bed.
Yeah. Well, and it's the coast. It's the coast of California that always dictates that, because the people that live probably in the Napa Valley,
northern side actually,
and the eastern side, those people think totally different. But unfortunately, the way things are set up there, everything gets dictated by the crazies on the coast.
Yeah.
And if you're crazy on the coast in California, well, yeah, you are. I said it.
But keep your crazy self over there. We don't want you.
Right. That's why I'll stay in the middle of the country. So yeah, we talked about that a little bit. Now I gotta bring up my topic that I've been bringing up to everybody. So this year, it's election year this year, and I'm really curious, and I'm hoping that part of the reason I'm doing this is because I want the opinions of people that I asked this question to go out to other people to see it, because I just think it's important. So election year, you got Joe Biden at 81, you got Donald Trump at 77. How do you feel about the ages of the two people that are running?
They're both too damn old.
Yeah. Do you think there should be some sort of law preventing people from that old from running, or do you think there's something that might be a good idea to put in place?
I'd say yeah. I'd think so, but it's unfortunate because honestly, there are quite a bit of people that are they're older. They're 70s. I would even say I know a couple people that are actually in their 80s not a lot, but they're not they're still there,
Hmm.
you know. But that being said, there's two things to that. I think you're starting to kind of lose it when you start to get old.
Hmm.
Old like that, when you're in your 80s, probably, maybe even in your 70s.
Hmm.
Also, believe it or not, I actually would say there should be a middle ground. So for instance, I'm not sure what I actually think on this, but it'd be like 35 is the starting point and maybe like 65 is the end point.
I think
Right?
35 is a requirement right now.
It
I'd have
is.
to look it up, but yeah, that's
Yep.
that's
You
the
have to be
youngest you can
35.
be. But I don't think that was way back in the day. If anybody was that young, because people died a lot sooner back when when this country was founded. People didn't live as long as they do now.
Yeah.
So 35 was probably more like the nowadays 50,
Yeah,
honestly.
okay.
But whatever. So that's I know it's got to be 35, but continue on the.
I guess where I kind of go with that as well is I think that when people start to get, I'm going to say, too old, they become disconnected from what's actually going on in the world
Sure.
or what's going on in the country.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what the statistics are or what the actual facts are, I should say, of like what the ages of people are that are living in the country.
Mm-hmm.
But I would almost say that the ages of the people that are living in the country right now should be closer to what your president should be.
So it's like if you took the median age, like
Yep.
here's the middle of the road. This is like, so, you got people on the high end are like 100. Well, obviously people on the low end are 0. So what's
You
the
can
middle?
have that.
50, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, 50 is a pretty good number. I think 50 is a good age to have a president. Anybody that's watching or listening to this is going to say this guy's a broken record, but I keep saying the same thing over and over again. I think when you're around that age, you've gained enough knowledge. You have a good grip on what the younger people might be looking for, and a good grip on what the older people might be looking for, because you're in between both of those. Because you might have parents that are older, you might have kids that are younger, so you can see it from both perspectives. So I think that puts you in a good spot to make decisions. Decisions that are going to impact other people. Also, like Bill Burr said, the decisions you make, you have to deal with the consequences when you're out of office, right?
That's a
So
good
I think
one.
that's important too. I love comedians because they say stuff like that, and I hate the fact that, nowadays it seems like people are trying to cancel comedians when they say offensive things, but comedians speak the truth in the things that we all think, but we don't say. That's kind of one of the deals that comedians do. And I love that about, like, so when Bill Burr said that, like, he's dead nuts right on. It's perfect. I mean, that's what we should. And recently have started to have a different perspective on that period, because I don't even know if age really makes a difference in our politicians, because I know there's a lot of old politicians that are in the Senate and in Congress that are just out of touch with reality, period. But the reality of it, that's been going on for a while, and I don't even care. Like, I think, like, so Matt Gaetz, I think he's fairly young. He's not real old.
Well, he's in his 40s.
Okay, so he's in his 40s, but see, you can't tell me that guy is in touch with what the people in this country want. And this is where I'm going with this. Most of these people that are running or that are in office, they're nothing but the elites. They all go to Harvard or Yale, and they're the people running the country. They're not people like me or you, who are just like the average working man doing our jobs and trying to raise a family. Those aren't the people that are in office. That's what the vision was when they set up the system. But what it's turned into is a bunch of people that really don't live in the reality that we live in anyways. And those are the people that are making and passing all these bills. If you look at, I mean, you can dig. I've read a lot about it, so, and I know this is true. But you can dig into that and you can find out that's exactly what's happening. Where that took a turn, there's some question about that, but I do know one thing, that part of the reason that it is like that is got to do with money. So if you think about it this way, if you, for example, wanted to run for a high profile office, whether it be president or United States senator or congressperson, it takes a lot of money to run for that, right? And you can fundraise so much, but at the end of the day, if you lose, you are going to be financially devastated when it's all said and done. Now, if you're rich to start with, then it doesn't really hurt you as bad. Then you just move on because you got a bunch of money. So if you lose, you just move on with your life, or you run again.
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of what happened. So I'd like to see it change. I'd like to see more regular people in there. And maybe, maybe me speaking out against it over and over again might start to touch a nerve in people, and maybe other people start to, jump on the bandwagon, and, maybe at some point we'll see it change. But yeah, I
think it's hard though. I think it's hard because there's a lot of people that are disconnected from reality.
Well, some people just want to live their lives and don't care.
And you
they
know
just
what? And
don't.
that's my wife is a prime example of
Yeah.
that. She does her thing. She lives her life with her family. She takes care of her family. She takes care of herself. She hangs out with the people she likes and whatnot. And all the government crap and all that other stuff, which I'm super crazy. I try to stick into politics a lot more than I probably should. But she stays away from it, and it's fine.
Mhm.
Nothing changes in her life. A president comes in, and then all of a sudden the next president's the complete opposite or something, and she's like, "Who? I don't care. I'm doing the exact same thing every day." So I actually try to be a little bit like her, but at the same time, I try to be aware. Be aware of everything that's going on.
You got to have people with both. Like your mom's the same. She probably follows it a little more than Kaylee does, and I follow it obviously more than your mom does. Because you got to have people. Somebody's got to pay attention. I mean, if we just quit paying attention, period, on what's going on, and we don't voice our opinions, the people that are in power, like if you read any history books, one thing I'll tell you for sure: if you just let them do what they want, you're going to live in a communist country at some point or another. And I don't care what country you are, but you cannot. Power is a crazy thing, and when people get a grip on it, they do not like to let it go, and they will manipulate things in order to keep that power at any cost. And if that means that they have to just have to control you somehow so you can't take that power away from them, they will do it. So you need to have those checks. You need to have people saying, "Hey, look, this ain't cool. We need to stop from this kind of stuff from happening." So yeah, that's my thoughts on it.
Yeah, otherwise you'll have somebody walk up to your door one day and they'll break and say we're taking your house.
Oh, dude.
And you'll have no idea why. Like, well, why? What happened? Well, you're not going to have a say when if it ever got to that point.
Yeah, back in before the Berlin Wall came down in Germany and in Russia, it's some crazy number. I might get this wrong. I think it was something like 1 out of 3 people informed on you to the government. So basically, in your family, you likely had 2 people in your family that anything that you said, like if you're at a family birthday party or whatever, if you said anything remotely close that might have been like what we're talking about now, saying that we don't like this about our government, it was likely that somebody was in that room that was going to go back and inform the government. And then, like in Russia, for example, when Stalin was running it, it was going to be probably the next day. They were coming to your door and they were dragging you out of there and they were throwing you into gulags and putting you into these labor camps just for speaking out against something that you. This. Oh yeah, it's true.
I don't remember where, but actually, you might even have told me. But
it's true. Yeah, that's crazy, and I might be a little bit off on a number, but it's real close to that. So that's some crazy stuff, and I think about that stuff more because I've been reading books about it, and that's why I feel like it's important that we, I'd like to see us try to get back to, like I said, just people, more normal, regular people making policies, because I think that's better for everybody in the country than people that don't care because the policies don't affect them anyways. You get to tell me what's good for me, but you're not living your life the same way I do. So I don't think you really I don't think you're in a position to tell me how I should be living my life because you're not living it by the same rules. Not cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, enough about the politics.
Yeah.
This whole show's not about politics. Only part of it. And only this year. Maybe next year. I don't know. Well, maybe I'll change up the format. Who knows? This is everybody's favorite segment. I'm sure of it. Or it's, going to be. I've only got one episode out here, but everybody's favorite segment is the bitch of the day. The bitch of the day. The bitch of the day.
That's
yeah. And so you gave me a couple ideas for the bitch of the day, and we're going to roll with one of those.
Okay.
Today's bitch of the day is none other than the infamous telemarketers / nowadays you call them the spam phone calls.
I'm glad you picked this one. I got a great story
Okay,
for this one.
let's let her fly, man. That's what this segment's about, man. Get it out there.
I got to tell you, if anybody that watches this, you probably could relate if you're close to my age, at least. For probably 4 years, I've been getting the same call, and it's at least once a week. For actually about 2 months at a time, it was like 5 times a day. Either way, it is. I don't know who it is. It's always a different number. It could be a 1-800 number. It could be a no caller ID number. It could be a 262 number. But it's the same damn place.
They're
the
sneaky,
same person.
Man. Sneaky
It's
with
bullshit.
the phone numbers.
But the worst part is I've been nice. I've been a dick. And I've just not answered. And I've hung up. I've done it all. And it's the same response all the time. But I do have one good response. So either way, somebody called and, hello, I'm looking for Kenneth. Kenneth, I don't know who Kenneth is.
Is it a Mexican guy?
Nah,
You sound like a
he's
Mexican.
Indian.
Well, that's not a Mexican.
I don't know.
Okay.
Is it better?
Hello,
But anyways,
I'm calling you from America.
My
Right?
name is Jim.
Yeah, right. I'm Todd.
Yeah. Anyways,
So, hey, Indian people, we're not sorry.
no, we're not. Come on,
Truth is
everybody's got to
Yeah,
laugh.
I know.
Everybody's got to laugh. I
Well,
mean, you
the
can make
truth of
fun
the-
of Wisconsinites for our stupid
Yeah,
hoops
and the truth
whatever.
of the matter is those phone calls, like most of them are coming from India.
Yep.
Yeah. So, anyways, go ahead.
Nonetheless, so looking for Kenneth. No, I'm sorry. This is the very beginning. No, Kenneth's not here. I'm sorry. I'm not Kenneth. Please don't call this number anymore. Just I don't need you. Oh, okay. We're sorry. Okay, great. Well, like 10 minutes later, calls back. Looking for Kenneth. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, Kenneth's not here. I don't know who that is and whatever else. Well, weeks go down after not answering the call anymore. I answer. Hello? Looking for Kenneth. Oh, Christ. Oh, geez. Okay. I'm like, Kenneth's not here. This is Cody. What are you calling about? Go ahead. Just tell me. Well, we're looking to see that you have you're looking for Medicaid. And I'm like, no, I'm definitely not.
Dude, I'm like 25.
Yeah. It's like I don't need that. I'm very young. I don't need Medicaid or anything else, so I'm sorry to help. Well, maybe you can nope, I'm just gonna hang up. So I hung up. Well, it happens again. Calls and calls and calls. And this time I'm pretty sure I was in the truck with Kaylee and the kids. And the guy called and I just was having a bad day. Or just calls, looking for Kenneth. Christ. Like, what the fuck? I don't know who Kenneth is. Fuck you. This is bullshit. Just going on, and I just let him have it. And the guy goes, no, fuck you. I'll fuck you in the ass. And I was like,
oh, wow.
whoa. And I was like, what?
Gee.
You're going to fuck me in the ass?
He finally got to him.
And he just let it go. I hung up the phone. I looked at Kaylee, and I was like, he said he's going to fuck me in the ass. She goes,
Maybe that was the whole
"Really?"
point of the calls in the first place.
Oh, who knows? I don't know, man. Medicaid, fuck you in the ass. No.
Wow.
But yeah, I haven't. They're probably watching. I am gonna get a call in the next week, and it's gonna be for Kenneth, and I'm gonna lose it. I think I got one last.
Well, just
this
tell them, hey,
last week.
this is Kenneth. And they say, when you need Medicaid, okay, sign me up.
Yeah, right. Well, we need a credit card number.
Yeah, well, I know. That's where that all goes.
It's just, and the unfortunate thing is, people will probably say, well, they blocked the number. Like I said, I've got 1 billion numbers.
I know how that goes.
I have probably on my phone 100, maybe like 20 blocked numbers, and they're all different, but they're all for the same thing. It's just, it's pretty crappy.
I got spam filter, and I get those calls. You know, I haven't got one looking for Kenneth yet, but I get a few of the same ones over and over again. And the problem is, like, because I run a business and I have 2 phone numbers that go to my cell phone, right? So I'm like, sometimes I get double those calls. Some of them will come up as spam right away, and I just decline the call. And I'm like, all right, it's nice. So I know it's spam, but some do not, you know, and I can't block them all because some are local numbers because they got, you know, those robocalls. They hijack numbers just for like one phone call. Somehow they can hijack it so it looks like it's local to get you to answer the phone.
Well, when you do, I think WhatsApp actually does a similar thing. Is you can make a phone call and hide your number, and it will like create a fake number.
Yep.
You call that number back, and it's somebody completely different.
Yep. I know, because I've done that before. And I've had people do that to me. They call me like, you just called me. I'm like, I didn't call you, man. I don't want to buy your shit. I'm like, dude, that wasn't me. I'm telling you. I honestly didn't call you.
Door.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
I didn't call you. I swear to God. I get, I've been getting these, it's a couple of them. They're the same. it's either, hello, this is Phil for calling from your TV service. I'm like, okay, is your TV on right now? I'm like, no, our TV's not on right now. You need to turn your TV on so we can update everything. And I'm like, yeah, just whatever, you know, and usually I'm just like, okay, I hang up. Or then like lately I've been getting one, hello, this is Tom calling from your healthcare service. I'm like, what? I'm like, at one point, and now I've kind of just started hanging up on them, but at one point I was so mean to these people.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you what, I don't care because you chose to take that job.
Yep.
It was not my choice for you to take that job. So if you choose to take that job and then you choose to make that phone call to me, and I tell you to go get a rope and go out in your garage and fucking hang yourself because we're all going to be better off when you don't call me anymore, I don't feel bad about it.
Yep.
Because when people tell me no because I made choices, like, that's my choice to do what I do. And if you yell at me for it, then I'm the only one to blame. And I know people need jobs, but
Dude, you can go sweep the floor.
Exactly. If you don't want to deal with me saying, yeah, your mother, was taking her up the ass last night or something like that from me, you loser. I was getting real shitty with those people, but now I just kind of like, yeah, whatever. But I don't feel bad. So if you're one of those people that called me, you know what you're going to get. Maybe you should just stop.
I'm going to fuck you with that.
I did have a guy once. I was just giving him a hard time, and I wasn't even being like vulgar or anything. I was just like giving him the business because I was messing with him because I get tired of these people calling me, right? So I'm messing with him. I can't remember exactly what he says, but you're a silly, stupid man or something like that. And then he hung up on me. I'm like, yes, my job is done. Now you know how it feels.
He calls back. No,
I don't think he ever did. Yeah, I don't think
he went
ever
back
did.
to his wife and he was like, this man, he made me mad and I was really sad and I had to hang up on him.
Yep.
I wasn't able to, he didn't hang up on me. It was weird.
Yeah, the good old telemarketers, man. That's always a good bitch. That's a good one. So thanks for the idea on that.
Oh, yeah, no problem. I was having a hard time trying to figure out what ideas I was going to use.
There's lots of them. I got to start writing them down so that I don't remember. I'm sure like, with people, hey, you to drop a comment on here. That's cool, man. Maybe I can do a contest someday because if I start using your idea for the bitch of the day, then maybe I can give away an Amazon gift card for like $5 or $6 or something. I don't know. That's all I can afford. Yeah. That's all I can afford until people start, start giving me sponsorship money. Well, I like to finish up the show with a random fact. It's another segment that I'm going to have being reoccurring. So I have prepared a statement for today's random fact, and I will read that to you now.
Oh, boy. Okay.
So today's random fact is about bourbon.
Ooh, I like this fact already.
Yeah, well, hopefully people learn something from this. Okay, so bourbon. As the early Americans traveled west, they brought stills with them, and they distilled their own spirits. Jugs of whiskey were brought to all social occasions, such as the old barn raising with Hezekiah Munson, weddings, and so on. By the way, no one runs for the dinner bell in the middle of lifting a 2,000-pound wall. So those spirits, they were not aged. They were usually flavored with some sort of fruit or something like that. They also used these early whiskeys for bartering. So they would trade them. If they used whatever, if they needed some grains to make bread or whatever, they would trade these spirits that they made, right? The first aged whiskey called bourbon was produced in 1820. Aging it in charred barrels is what made it bourbon. It's not known who decided to use this process first, but in 1826, a Lexington grocer wrote to distiller John Corliss, telling him he heard aging whiskey in charred barrels improved the flavor. In the 1830s, Christopher Crowe used scientific methods to understand the distilling process and subsequently started keeping notes, which led to a more uniform and quality batches. In 1870, George Garvin Brown introduces Old Forester.
I actually just had a bottle of that.
Yeah,
it was good.
It's the first bourbon to be sold only by the bottle. In the 1880s, as the bottles started becoming less expensive and easier to get as a result of the manufacturing processes, people naturally started fucking around, mixing whiskeys with other neutral spirits and calling them bourbons, right? Here's the old, the guys, they always gonna be fucking shit up for everybody else, right?
Sticking your fingers in the cookie.
Uh-huh. So the government stepped in and created the Bottled in Bond Act of 1897. This helped the real bourbon makers stand out against the people selling crummy knockoffs. In 1906, President Taft signed off on the Pure Food and Drug Act, which defined the categories known today as straight, blended, and imitation whiskeys. You learning something yet?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Here's where people get off on the rails or get off the rails on what's considered bourbon. According to the U.S. trade legislation, bourbon whiskey is made from a mash that consists of between 51 and 80% corn. It must be aged for a minimum of 2 years. It must be aged in new white oak charred barrels. Nothing other than water can be added at the bottling process, which means you can put the bourbon and you can, if the proof is too high, you can put some water in there to bring the proof down, right?
Okay.
And it has to be made in the United States. Those are the requirements of bourbon. So for all you people running around telling other people that all bourbon comes from Kentucky, you're wrong. As a matter of fact, one of my favorite bourbons, here's another sponsorship opportunity for somebody, is made in Breckenridge, Colorado. They make some good bourbons. Well, you haven't had, whatever. I like them.
Well, I guess I should.
They got a bunch of them. They're good. Some of them are blended like, they do the port cask or the PX cask, and they're standard. They're good. I just bought a bottle one day, and they make good bourbon. And here's why. Lots of the bourbons are made in Kentucky, however, because Kentucky sits on a massive limestone shelf, and the water flowing through the limestone is packed with minerals that yeast need to survive. So good water equals good bourbon. That's why so many of them are made in Kentucky, which is also probably why the Breckenridge bourbon is good, because you're up in the mountains of Colorado. Yep. Good water equals good bourbon.
I was just going to actually kind of tie into that and say, I bet it's because the natural springs off the mountains. Because I remember being in Colorado Springs and in Denver, same thing.
So if somebody watching or listening wants to get a hold of the Breckenridge dudes, like, give them my email. Call me up.
I'll wear a shirt.
I like the Breckenridge.
I just like bourbon, so I'll wear a shirt.
Yeah, bourbon's good. So the temperature fluctuations between seasons are also a big factor why they make so many in Kentucky, because allowing the whiskey to pick up the flavors from the barrels as they expand and contract. So, colder winters, warmer summers, that also is a reason why they make a lot of them down there. So, anyways, any questions?
Nope.
Good. Thanks for coming on.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
It was a good time, and hopefully we can do this again.
Yep.
Well,
I don't know when, but yes.
Well, bye.